was a Rolls Royce, honestly. Not even as a person, because he was a Rolls Royce as a person. Seriously, the loveliest man. Like he would literally get me ready for every single game by just being like, Fozzie, you're the man. Like, just go out there and smash it as normal, mate. Wicked, sweet as a nut. And he's like, I don't even want to play, so just smash it, please. Thank you very much.
What's the best piece of advice that you received as a young player?
Some good advice I received as a young player. I remember when I was at Stoke City, actually, and this was before I kind of got the move to Manchester United, and I actually injured my knee. I did my cruciate, the very first time I did my cruciate, and I basically went away for a few months, did a load of weights, upper body weights, like leg weight, or everything like that, just built myself up to be a much stronger person. So much so that when I got back to playing football and my knee was fully healed, I felt just better at everything. I felt faster, quicker, stronger, everything. I could read everything. And Ade Akinbiyi, do you remember him?
Yeah, rings a bell.
Ade Akinbiyi, so Stoke City, kind of played for Reading, all those kind of big, strong striker. I remember him getting hold of me after training one day, and he basically, I was going to say, shoved the rocket up my ass. Now, I don't mean that literally. Like, he literally didn't do that. Ade, I know you wouldn't do that anyway, mate. But he kind of grabbed me and he was like, listen, Fozzie, mate, I genuinely think you've got a chance here, yeah? And I don't think, he basically said, I don't think you know what you can do, but I see it in training every day, so you're going to have to give this a proper go because you can genuinely do something. And I remember him saying it and thinking, okay, all right, maybe. And within days, I was banging on the manager's door saying I want to go out on loan, I want to play. And from that moment on, I went and got a loan move to Wrexham, and it was off the back of spending 3 months on loan at Wrexham that got me a move to Man United. And it was all because Ade Akinbiyi said to me, no, you're going to have to proper knuckle down and take this seriously now because I think you've got a bit. So I always remember that.
Yeah, I'm sure. And when you were at United, do you think you got a fair crack?
Yeah, the only problem was that I had Edwin van der Sar there at the same time.
Yeah.
So to be fair, sometimes you have to look around, and when you see a guy like Edwin van der Sar next to you, you have to hold your hands up. You genuinely do. You have to hold your hands up. So maybe, not even maybe, it was probably a case of wrong place at the wrong time for me, because Edwin at that time, that was when Man United were in their pomp. They're winning everything. They're in the final of the Champions League, the FA Cup, the League Cup, Europa. They do everything. They are winning everything. And at that moment in time, Edwin van der Sar, I honestly think, was one of the best goalkeepers in the world. And certainly for Man United, I don't think any other goalkeeper in the world at that time could have done what Edwin did for Man United.
Towards the end of his career as well.
Phenomenal. Well, he signed when he was 35, ended up staying until he was 40. And even then, he was just a Rolls Royce, honestly. Not even as a person, because he was a Rolls Royce as a person. Seriously, the loveliest man. And I learnt so much from him. But on the pitch, he was the most natural, effortless goalkeeper I've seen.
And what was Ferguson like at that time with you? Because obviously, players who aren't playing, a big part of management is to keep them happy and motivated. So was Ferguson good at that with you? Yeah,
that was one of his biggest qualities, was his man management, and that ability to absolutely nail you on a Saturday afternoon and give you a hairdryer, but then on a Sunday morning come and put an arm around you and say, how you doing, mate? You're right. You've seen that on the telly, and it's almost like it's just forgotten. But it gets you back on an even keel again, so there's no grudges, no resentment, nothing like that. And he was so good at doing that, honestly. He learned about every single player, and not only what they were like, but his family, their family, where they are, where they're settled, what they're doing, are they going out for meals, all that kind of stuff. He knew everything, honestly.
There's a World Cup coming up. As a goalkeeper, who are you hoping to see between the sticks for England? Pickford or Ramsdale?
It will be Pickford. It's got to be Pickford. I think the beauty of it at the minute is that Rambo is absolutely smashing it. He is killing it, and it's only good for England that in the long term. Obviously, he'll push Jordan all the way, but I think going into a major tournament, into a World Cup, into a Euros, you need a goalie who's tried and tested, who's been there, who's seen it, he's had experience. A lot of people always say as well, like he never lets England down, and I feel that's so disrespectful, seriously, because he does so much more than just not let England down. He think back to the Euros and saving penalties in the final, and along the way making some of those big, massive saves at massive moments.
That Havertz volley.
There you go. Stuff like that is just you need to have a goalie who's been there, seen it, and done it. And I think for this World Cup, that's Jordan Pickford. But I think in the long term, for sure, Aaron Ramsdale has got a huge future as an England goalkeeper.
There's a lot of other debates about who should start as well. Is there anyone you're desperate to see in that starting 11?
In the starting 11, I think Phil Foden for sure has to start. The form he's shown recently in even this season,
brilliant for City.
He's last season everybody knew, but game time was a little bit more sparse. This season it's like he's the go-to. Do you know what I mean? He's guaranteed to be starting week in, week out. So as long as we see Phil Foden up there, Harry Kane's obviously absolutely guaranteed. The big worry for me at the minute is the defence, is who we're going to play.
Ravaged by injuries. We had all the right backs, and now we've got none of them.
And now we've got none of them.
Yeah.
Centre backs, a lot of injuries. Kyle Walker, John Stones. Like, are we starting Harry Maguire? Are we starting Chris Smalling? Are we starting Fikayo Tomori? I don't know. I really don't know. I've actually tried to sit down and make a podcast of this, and it boggles my head. And I haven't done it because it boggles my head.
It's too hard.
We're just going to have to leave it much nearer the time, see who's fit, see who's looking good to go, and take it from there.
Don't envy Gareth at all.
No chance.
Impossible job. No. Just going back to goalkeeping for a moment, is there any keeper that you would love to have worked with who could maybe tempt you out of retirement to do a job as backup on like a short-term basis? You know, anyone still in the game that you'd love to
I would love to. I would have loved to have done the Scott Carson role for Man City. I would love to have been that guy, because
third choice never plays.
So from what I hear, Scott Carson and Edison are like that. They are like bezzie mates, like full on bezzie mates. And people underestimate how important it is to have a bezzie mate as a goalkeeper. So when I was at West Brom, for example, I had Boaz Miley as my number 2. He was my bezzie mate. Like he would literally get me ready for every single game by just being like, Fozzie, you're the man, like just go out there and smash it as normal, mate, wicked, sweet as a nut. And he's like, I don't even want to play, so just smash it please, thank you very much. And Scott Carson will be that guy for Edison. But I watch Edison, right, and I buzz off how like just bothered he is. Like when I say bothered, I mean not bothered. He just looks like he doesn't care. Like, but as a goalie, that is a huge skill to have, to not have to worry about the consequences, the ramifications if you mess up. He knows he'll do whatever he does, and even if he does make a mistake, whatever. I've seen him Cruyff turn on the 6-yard line. I've seen him taking touches on the goal line when somebody's slide tackling him.
Not phased at all.
Not phased. It doesn't bother him, and I'd love to see behind the scenes of just how mad he is, because he looks like he's bonkers, but what a goalkeeper. Seriously, what a goalkeeper.
And what a gig Scott Carson's got.
What a gig. But mate, it's a role. It's a genuine role.
Of course.
So even the way
it's
that
not
he is...
jolly, it's
so I mean,
role,
he works harder than Edison, because he has to do all the extra training. Do you know what I mean? So he's like a cheerleader. He's motivation. He backs up Edison. He does all the goalkeeper training. He has to do the extra shooting on a Saturday afternoon when everybody's gone in to get ready for the game. He does it every single day in training. He stays behind. He works harder than everybody else. It's not an easy gig, but there's a massive role for it, and Scott Carson is world class at it.
And now he's going to have Erling Haaland smashing volleys at him for a whole month during the World Cup.
Absolutely killing your confidence every single day, just nailing goals past you. But yeah, you got it. But he'll keep smiling, and I bet you he keeps giving it to the players, and he's making them work hard, keeping them on their toes. What a guy!
I could talk all day, but we have run out of time. So Ben Foster, thank you very much.
Thank you, mate. Absolute pleasure.